Hello friends, this is Chris with Peaceful Mind Art and Craft, and today I'm here to give you the second part of my video on more sewing books. So I've done quite a few of the sewing book videos, and every time I make a batch of the sewing books I like to do a video just to kind of keep refreshed, but there are more available. The last time that I did part one of this video, I showed you how I made all the covers for the journals, and this one is actually, I've finished all the books and this is the last one, so I'm going to show you on this one how to do the inside of the journal, and then we'll do a flip through. We might do a flip through at the end of this video. I'm not quite sure yet how much time we'll have left. If I don't do a flip through at the end of this video, then I will do one for I'll do another video with all of the books, and I believe I have 7 books, 4 big ones like this size, which is 5 by 7, and 3 smaller ones which are around 4 by 6 or 4 by 5. So what I did was I made the covers, like I said, of all of them. And this one, the cover is, I used a slow stitch heart. I love the pink and black together, so I made a, I used black lace, and then since this was primarily pink, I love putting those together. The tie is tied on with this piece of lace in the back with a little rose and some pearls, and the ribbon goes underneath both the back little piece and then the front heart. I added this sewing on here. I just stamped those on there with the tiny little separate stamps, so I could kind of make the letters not straight. I like the way they look, kind of twisted a little bit. This heart I left open at the top so that it could be a pocket, and I have a little card that goes in there. I use these tiny little wooden, I guess you call them conversation hearts, that like the candy, and then you could just make little notes on there, and I tucked that into the heart. Okay, so let's decorate the inside of this. I've got some things inside of it that I thought might go as we go along. We'll put them in. I have this piece of black lace which I want to glue in here. I think what I'll do is I'll put a bead of glue all the way around and glue this down. I am using fabric tack, which I've used throughout the whole journal. Whenever you're gluing, and I know I've said this before, but I always kind of repeat it for the new people. Whenever you're gluing down fabric to fabric or paper to fabric, it's a good idea to use this fabric tack glue. The Art Glitter glue, which is the white glue I use, is not quite strong enough to hold all this stuff down. So I found by using this in my sewing books, or whenever I'm gluing paper to fabric or fabric to fabric. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, on this lace, I'm going to cover the back of these roses with a little bit of the glue so that they stay down. And really, you could put this on any parts of the lace that won't show through a whole lot. The reason you don't want it to show through is because it looks looks a little bit messy if you know what I mean. And I have this lace cut so it kind of goes over the side and the top and bottom. And I'm fitting it just so it goes into the center here. And now I'm dabbing with you can either use a damp cloth or a dry cloth. Okay, so then we can see what it looks like sticking out the sides. And depending on how we like the look of that, we can trim it off if we want or just leave it the way it is. I think that I'm going to leave it the way it is. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this later on. Don't you love this? This is like a black tulle with a black edging on it. The fabric was made into some kind of ribbon. I can't remember. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. It was like a bow, a big bow, and I think it was supposed to be for hair, like a hair bow for a girl. Okay, I had wanted to put this picture over here, so that's what I'm going to do next. I've got some glue that's kind of seeping out of here, so I'm going to try to use that. Trying to stay in the picture here, in the camera range. You'd think I'd be a little bit more successful at making these videos after I've done it for 5 years, but that's not my forte, so you'll have to just roll with me. Okay. So, and I found this, this was a digital that I bought. Okay. And even sticking paper down to felt, it's best to use the fabric tack. What I did here was I used a little handmade tag and a fabric tag that says quilted with love, and it's attached this little bulb pin. I like to put a few of those into each journal. Okay. I think I'll put this on this side. And it can also stick out on the edge a little bit. And you can adjust it like this to make sure that it's, doesn't like stick out way more on one end than the other. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attach it, first of all, on this edge. And then I'm going to take my cloth and dab it. And one of the reasons I do this is so that it flattens the glue down, so you won't, and because it's lace, you might see some of the glue through there, but at least you won't see like globs of it. It'll be flattened down more. And I can, if I want to, put some over here, put some glue. I don't think I'll do that right now. This would make a great page for putting in some pins. Let's see. And these journals or sewing books, they could be a sewing journal as well, because you can write in them. Let me get this. There we go. But these pieces of lace and so on are great for putting in pins. And also the felt is great for inserting pins through. But this way you have this lace here, and then it won't show through on this back area. These books will be available in my Etsy shop after I get the flip through finished, and whether that be on this video or the next one. If you do see one that you like ahead of the time that goes on my Etsy, let me know, and I will let me know in the comments, and I will correspond with you regarding that book. Okay, see, and then also in here is also a place where you could put pins, needles, whatever you think. I could put a pocket on here as well. I don't know if I will. I think I like it just the way it is on there. Let's see what I got here. Oh, here's some cool buttons. I think I'm gonna make this the button page though. So this page, I think I might just make a small pocket. Oh, I like this. This is a little sewing notes book that I made. All I did was fold over a piece of a digital page, or you could use scrapbook paper. And then from some digitals, these were digitals of embossed papers. I slid those in there with a little, this is a piece of elastic. That's how I held it together, with the elastic. And then I put a little dot of glue right here on the knot so that it wouldn't slide around. So let's make a pocket for that notebook. Let's see, what shall we use? Shall we use for this? I kind of like this. Let's see. It's not super sturdy, but I'll try it. And we'll glue it on 3 sides and leave it open on the top. Slide this out of the way for a moment. Okay. Here's me forgetting where my... Okay, so let's see if we can get this on without totally messing it up. Now this is very thin, so you could, if you wanted to, attach this to a piece of cardstock before you put it down as a pocket. There we go. This will fit in here. I'll just put the one edge in there. That'll hold it. I'm trying not to put it towards the sides where the wet glue is. And I will also put a piece of wax paper in there so that I can turn this page and it will not stick down to the other pages. Now here, like I said, is a I'm going to make the button page on here, and this is a card of old buttons that was in the box that I got from my friend who passed away at 104. She lived next door, and she gave her daughter gave me all of her buttons that she had in her button collection. So I've been using those for a number of years. So I'm going to glue those down. Or if you wanted to leave this as is, and to be able to take it out and you actually use the buttons, you could put a pocket on there and then slide it into the pocket. But I'm just going to use it as it is, like this, as kind of a page decoration. And then on this side, I'm going to glue this down, this lace down, as kind of a belly band. Glue it at the top. And glue it at the bottom. Find my lid. You guys, when I work on my own, I must always put stuff back as I go. But I guess when this looks a little lopsided. Let me see if I can fix this. That's a little better. I try to do this as I go because I don't like the look of this. And it's a waste of this fabric tack. If you don't put the lid back on right away, it starts to ooze out the top, and then you lose it. You kind of have more globs than what you might want. This fabric tack does allow you to, before it dries, to pick it up a bit and reposition it to get it straighter. Now in here I could put, for example, this card, tag. I think that looks nice. Since it's a button page, I'm going to put on there some a little bag with buttons. And the way I put those on is usually with a safety pin. Or I could use a bulb pin as well. And I would fill this with some buttons. If you purchase one of these sewing books, they will come with a few pins, needles, and then some of these buttons that you see me using. and the pure scissors. And if you use a sewing book like this, or if you make your own, this is a great place to kind of like it on this side. This is a great place to store buttons in a bag, so you can make repairs to your clothing and so on. You know how when you buy a new blouse, or even really anything these days that has buttons on it, sometimes they give you a extra button or two to make your repairs if you lose a button. Well, this would be a great place to keep those, so you don't lose them. Okie dokie. So here's another. I'll take you through this. Here's another belly band where we can put needles and pins through there. This I already have glued down, and then this is open so that you can put needles and pins in there. Here's a pocket that I'm going to do on this side, and I could use tags or whatever on there. And then here's another piece of that black lace. A lot of times when you're making a book or a journal, or really any art piece, it's good to repeat different items that are in the book already. You know, and also, of course, sticking to the colors, but then repeat the book. Here's where I'm gonna put the scissors. Okay, and here's the back where I'm going to put a strip of the tape measure ribbon. This is where I'm going to make a pocket, and I'm going to complete this, and then I will come back on a different video and show you flip through all of the sewing books that I have made. There's 7 of them, so stay tuned for that. And I hope you are well and take care. If you want to make a trip to my Etsy shop, right below my banner on my YouTube website or channel is it says more, and then you hit the more button, and then it will take you to where my Etsy shop, to get into my Etsy shop. Thank you for joining me today. Peace of mind.